multiplicity of signals in 13C NMR. In 13C NMR, we usually observe one bond coupling, that is 1JCX. That is the coupling due to proton which is directly attached to the carbon. Now, taking this example, we will try to analyze this multiplicity of signals in 13C NMR, where we have taken this example before also. In this example, we have CH3CH2. This is the X group. Now here this carbon, it is bearing 3 proton over here. So this carbon, it will couple with this 3 proton which is having 100% abundance. So when it couples with these 3 protons, then this carbon, it will have its multiplicity as a quadret. Likewise, for this carbon over here, with this 2 hydrogen, that is 2 proton attached to this carbon, so this carbon over here, it will get a triplet signal. But in case of proton NMR spectroscopy, as we have seen that for these 3 protons over here, they will be getting triplet signal, and these 2 protons over here, they will be getting quadret signal. But in case of 13C NMR, for this carbon over here, it is getting quadret signal, and the carbon over here, it is getting triplet signal, as because of their direct attachment with this 3 proton and this 2 proton over here. The carbon here, it is attached to the another carbon with one bond. So due to less natural abundance, 13C coupling constant cannot be observed. With this short discussion in the multiplicity of signal, now we will move towards the chemical shift in the 13C NMR. Here, the reference standard for chemical shift in 13C NMR is TMS, like that what we have seen in the case of the proton NMR. Now here, talking about the range, as we have already seen in the proton NMR, it ranges from 0 to 12.5. Here in this case of 13C NMR, its range is from 0 to 220 ppm. It's almost around 20 times to that of the range for the proton NMR. It is because what we have already seen that gyromagnetic ratio for the carbon is almost 1/4 of the gyromagnetic ratio of the proton. And we know that for the carbon, it has 6 electrons surrounding the nucleus, and with that, for proton, it has only 1 electron. So for carbon, the number of electrons in carbon nuclei, they are 5 more than that of the proton, which contributes the 5 times to the chemical shift range. With these two regions, its range, it's almost 20 times to that of the proton NMR's range. Now with this, we will move towards the general idea of the important chemical shifts in the 13C NMR. As we have already seen in the proton NMR, their range, it was from 0 to 12.5. Here it is 0 to 20 ppm. Now looking towards the chemical shift, here we have from 20 to 40, it is that carbon which is sp3 hybridized without any electronegative attachment to it. Likewise, from 40 to 80, it is that carbon with some electronegative attachment with sp3 hybridization. And from 80 to 110, it is that carbon with triple bond, that is, it is sp hybridization with electronegative attachment to it. And from 110 to 140, it is that carbon which is sp hybridized, that may be olefinic or aromatic. Likewise, from 150 to 20, it is that carbon which is sp2 hybridization, and which is sp2 hybridized, that may be with carbonyl group or maybe with double bond, that we will see with the help of the problem. Now let us solve some problem. With this, we will get some ideas regarding the chemical shift for some important groups in the 13C NMR. Now here we have given this compound, that is C4H6O, with its signals at 20 ppm it is quadret, 180 ppm it is triplet, 130 ppm it is doublet, 188 ppm it is singlet. Now before going to this chemical shift value, we will first look at the double bond equivalent for this compound over here to know the degree of unsaturation for this compound. That is, since we know we have done the double bond equivalent before, so the double bond equivalent, we have the formula, that is number of carbon minus monovalent atom divided by 2 plus trivalent atom divided by 2 plus 1. Since here in this case we have 4 number of carbon, that is we'll put Cn is equals to 4. Monovalent atom, we have only hydrogen as a monovalent atom, so 6 by 2. So we don't have any trivalent atom in this compound over here, that is we will add 1, so we'll get the double bond value, that is double bond equivalent value, that is equals to 2. So with this, maintaining this double bond equivalent is equals to 2, we have to make the possible structure for this compound over here using this chemical shifts value. Now at 28 ppm it is quadrate, that means since we know from 20 to 40 ppm it is the carbon with sp3 hybridization without any electronegative attachment to it. So they have given 28 ppm, it is quadrate, that means the carbon bearing 3 hydrogen, it must be there. So for that we will give CH3 like this. Now moving towards another value, that is 180 ppm, it is triplet, that is at 180 ppm it is triplet, that means triplet we have to put 2 hydrogen, so that at 180 ppm it is, that is the carbon, it should be sp2 hybridized, that is putting 2 hydrogen, it will look like this here. So it is CH2 with double bond. Likewise at 138 ppm it is doublet. So since we know that for chemical shift that ranges from 110 to 150 ppm, it is sp2 carbon with double bond to it. So since it has doublet signal, so we will put 1 hydrogen and it may be like this, CH with double bond. And for 188 ppm it is singlet, so it will be the carbonyl group. Since we know that from 152 to 20 ppm it will be the carbonyl group carbon and the sp2 hybridized double bond carbon, like this what we have seen. And now we will see for this compound we have 4 carbon there. Here in this fragments we have 1 2 3 4 carbon, and proton over here 1 2 3 4 5 6, so here also 6 proton. So and oxygen, here it is 1 oxygen, here also 1 oxygen. Now the compound over here, it is similar to that of what we have made here, the fragments. So if we assemble all these fragments, then it will look like this here. So this may be the possible structure for this compound that is given, that is CH3CO CH double bond CH2. Here 2 double bond equivalent is there for this compound. So maintaining this, we have made the possible structure for this compound. Now moving towards another question, we have this question that is like this, in which we have C5H8O2. So here we have the signal at 120 ppm it is doublet, 132 ppm it is triplet, 170 ppm it is singlet, 180 ppm it is triplet, 22 ppm it is quadrate. Now first of all we will calculate the DBE, that is double bond equivalent. 5 minus 8 by 2 plus 1, since we don't have any trivalent atom here, so the double bond equivalent for this compound will be equals to 2. Now maintaining this, we will find the possible structure for this compound. Here in the first case, that is 128 ppm, so it will be the sp hybridized carbon, sp2 hybridized carbon, that will be what we have seen. In the case of 110 to 150, we will have the sp2 hybridized carbon. So here it is doublet, then we will give, for this we will give the 1 hydrogen, that is like this over here with sp2 hybridized, that is double bond will be there. And here 132 it is triplet, that means 2 hydrogen will be there for carbon with double bond to it. And for 170 it is singlet, they are saying the singlet, that means it doesn't have any hydrogen to it, so it will be the carbonyl group, so we will write like this. And for 180 it is triplet, so since it is triplet, so it may be having 3 hydrogen to it, so that we will write 2 hydrogen to it, so we will write CH2. Since it is triplet, so it will couple with this 2 hydrogen and it will give a triplet signal. So 180 ppm it is, so having electronegative attachment to it. Likewise in 22 it is quadrate, so it will be the CH3 group. So with this all fragments, we will find the structure as like this: CH2 CH C double O O CH2 CH3. Now with this we will get this fragments. Another, if we put oxygen over here, then we will get like this structure, which may be the possible structure, but in this fragment we have OCH2. Here in this case we have OCH2, here OCH, so this may not be the possible structure, so this will be the possible structure for this compound. Likewise, we will solve the problems related to the chemical shift in 13C NMR. Now we will see one of the important application in 13C NMR, that is in case of this xylene we have orthoxylene, we have metaxylene, we have paraxylene. In case of 13C NMR we will get 4 signal in the orthoxylene, that is 1 2 3 4 signal in the orthoxylene, and in case of metaxylene we will get 5 signal, 1 2 3 4 5 signal. Here in this case of paraxylene we will get 1 2 3 signal. So this is, that is 13C NMR is the most appropriate technique to differentiate between the isomers of xylene. Likewise, we can study some of the other aromatic compound using this 13C NMR technique. With this, if you like my videos, don't forget to share it to your friends and giving thumbs up right down below. Thank you.